Sheikh
Yes,
Hussein,
Sheikh,
Assalamu alaikum.
we can't hear you just in case you are on mute.
Yeah, we can hear me
Okay,
there.
can you hear now?
Yes,
Yes,
no,
we can hear
Okay,
you.
I got unmute automatically. Okay, thank you.
No
So
problem.
this is internet. Now you can see sometimes there was a message unstable, then it just cut off. Okay, continue. So,
It felt very
so
unstable, Sheikhna.
yeah, you can sometimes imagine it's early in the morning. Yes. So Prophet says, Allahumma aini fi ala siyami wa qiyami. Allah help me, with my fast and prayers. This is interesting because this is the seventh day, and Prophet is saying this prayer. This shows that as we progress in Ramadan, sometimes things can distract us. Sometimes thoughts can come in and say that how long we should continue. So can we on the seventh day, Prophet is praying that Allah Aini, that means the aun, we say Iyaka na'budu, the same, it's the same root word. Aun means to help. Allahumma aini, that help me fihi, in it, in this day. Ala siyami wa qiyami. No, in his fasting and prayers, both. Because this is the month of Siyam and Qiyam. Siyam is fasting, Qiyam is standing there for prayers. No? وَجَنِّبْنِي فِيهِ مِنْ أَفْوَاتِ وَآثَامِ, and keep me away from mistakes and sins of the day. So we should be careful that as we progress in Ramadan, we should not be disgraced, should not be, for example, distracted by things. We should know that there is a goal, there is an aim which we are trying to do that. We should keep that. Our objective should just be there firm. وَارْزُقْنِي فِي ذِكْرَكَ وَدُعَائِكَ, and subhanallah, also grant me tawfiq, grant me that I remember you continuous throughout the day. ذِكْرَكَ فِي دُعَائِكَ, dime, for example. But throughout the day, don't at all for a moment also miss out that Allah is there. I'm praying, I'm fasting because He has asked me. So we should remember Allah at every stage. Other things should not distract us. بِتَوْفِيقِكَ يَا هَادِي الْمُضِلِّينَ, by your assistance, by your tawfiq, Ya Hadi al-Mudrin, oh, who is the guide for those astray. So it's an interesting dua. Prophet is saying prayers this dua, right? That easily as we progress, shaitan will come, or thoughts may come, or other people, for example, may bring in kind of thoughts that we start doubting what we are doing, or we may be doing it for the sake of doing it only because it's wajib, you have to do it. No, we should be focused as we continue from Ramadan. So it's interesting dua and coming from the Prophet now. We come to our book, Kitab al-Mumin, which we have been discussing. This is the book, as we said, Kitab al-Mumin, right? And now today we finish chapter 3. I've chosen 2 to 3 hadiths in chapter 3. It's quite interesting. Abu Abdullah, 6th Imam, says, La wallah, la yakun mu'minan abadan hatta yakuna li akhi مثل الجسد إذا ضرب عليه أرقا وعادة تدعى له سائر الأروق, right? 6th Imam says, no, by God, La wallah, by God, Allah, a believer is not a believer until he acts as the body of his brother. When one vein in it is in difficulty, right, or you find that it invokes, it is when one vein is struck, it invokes the rest of the body. Quite interesting. It's similar to what we discussed yesterday, but the first part is quite interesting. When Imam says, La Allah, no, by God, it's very strong. La yakun mu'min. A mu'min is not a mu'min abadan at all. So that first phrase is quite interesting. The other, what we discussed yesterday, that, for example, if a mu'min is struck or in difficulty, then we should also feel impact of it. But it's not only feeling now. In other words, that we are not a mu'min. One of the imams says that sign is that as a mu'mineen, as a community, we are like one body. And keep in mind here, mu'min doesn't mean that only person from your cultural background. If you are a Pakistani, so you're talking of Pakistani. If you are a Khoja, you're talking about Khoja. No, you're talking of all mu'mineen across the board, whether is a Pakistani, Iraqi, black, white, doesn't matter, right? They are mu'mineen. So it is something which we need to just praise ourselves. Do I have that kind of feeling or not? If not, then what is the missing puzzle? No? What's there? That why I have not developed that kind of love, affection for fellow believers? No? Why I'm so much just concerned about myself, or just people, my family, or perhaps people of my only background, my own culture? That should be the case. No, this is something which Islam is preaching, that no, as a whole, Mu'mineen throughout the world is one body. And it is said that there are 1.5 billion Muslims, or 1.6 billion people give. Even if you take, they say 15 to 20%. Let's take even 15%, right? So if you take, for example, 1.6 times 15%, that makes 240 million Shias. 240 million Shias, even only if you take a lower side, right, are there. So these are all body of one we are talking about. And this is quite interesting. Imam says, La Allah, by God, a believer is not a true believer, even until he acts as the body of his brother. When one man is struck, it works the rest of the body. It is very important we should know. So, for example, because of all this happening, there is also Lebanon which is trying to help, right? The Hezbollah is trying to help in this case. In the process, it has lost many people. I think almost 200 people up to now. I don't know that I'm not following the news that much, but continuously. So we should also pray for the safety of Mu'mineen, or trying to help this cause. So may Allah have mercy on the oppressed, and may Allah protect the believer, right? Because when a believer is struck, when he's killed, for example, in Lebanon, then we should be affected by it. Again, the sixth Imam says, no, Islam, for everything there is a thing that gives a comfort, and a believer finds rest in the company of his fellow believer, just as the bird finds comfort among his own kind. So this is also there, that we should have kind of relation that when we meet a fellow believer, then he or she should find comfort in you, and we should find comfort in him or her, right? So it is important that this kind of relation should be there, that we should find that thing. It should not happen that we doubt each other. For example, we are doubting each other, we are always questioning each other, or we are suspecting each other that this person is not genuine. We start judging from them. That should not be the case. That provided we have a clear evidence that somebody is, for example, acting against you, or somebody is acting against Islam, is a different thing. As far as he or she is a believer, mu'mina, we will treat them as a mu'mina. So this is quite interesting, that the kind of special bond. And you can see the author says that the bond that Allah has created amongst the believers, it's Allah which has set this kind of bond. He is trying that again, Abu Abdullah says, المؤمن في تبارهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم كمثل الجسد إذا اشتكى تدى له السهر. Right? He says, a believer in this, in their reverence, affection, and compassion, right? Is tarahum, raham, is in their, that kind of raham is there. Tabarhum, in the reverence, in the raham, mercy, in the affection and compassion for each other, like one body. When it falls ill, it affects all over the restlessness and fever, right? You can see a sir is, for example, a person who cannot sleep, and hama is fever, So you will feel like restlessness, you cannot sleep, there is a kind of fever you feel, and we have a doctor also in our just now presence, that how a person feels, right? When a person has, for example, fever, how much, person doesn't feel like eating, nothing is, there is just no mood for that, right? You just are trying to see that when can I get over this thing. So this is the kind of feeling we should have for fellow believers when they are suffering. And meaning in this day and age, because of internet, because of WhatsApp, all those things, we come to know the suffering of fellow believers very quickly, very fast, immediately. So, and you find, of course, there's always a request that you help in this cause, help in this cause. Of course, you do your due diligence in trying to say that is this charity or is this cause worthwhile or not. You can do your due diligence, but once you're done, وإذا توكل وَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَاتَّقُ اللَّهَ. There's an ayat of Quran says that if once you've decided, وَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ, once you make a decision, when you make a resolution, فَاتَّقُ اللَّهَ, then now just trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, I did my due diligence that, okay, this is a charity, this is the brother who needs, this is, for example, a cause he needs for education, he needs for medical, I've done my due diligence, now I'm just sending. Now, it, of course, is not in my hand. We try to do it. So keep in mind, but that should that affection should be there. It's not that we should always be in comfort and lot of wealth while others are suffering. So this is important, is that one should be there for fellow believers. I was trying to think that what example should I give you in history, and I could think of one example which I hope that it will convey the message which we are trying to do. Although this may not be the best example, but at least to make the point, right? Just to try in the point. We have the example, all of us know the story of Nabi Yusuf and his brothers. That the brothers were jealous because the father used to have perhaps a special relation for Yusuf, or father used to show love for Yusuf more than other sons, which some scholars doubt. I think some scholars say that Yaqub, being a prophet of Allah, he would not do that. He would not, for example, show more love for Yusuf than his brothers. That will be against it, right? It could be that maybe the brothers were just reading something wrong, or it could be that Yaqub had a knowledge that after him Yusuf also became a prophet. So because he was a prophet, maybe that extra care he was doing for Yusuf, it could be. But it is not plausible that Yaqub, being a prophet of God, being a father, would show more love towards Yusuf than his brother. In any case, so brothers felt like that, and they got rid of him. And then a time came, or he went through all those kind of difficulties. But subhanAllah, you can see that attributing the unjust acts of brothers to Shaitan and regarding him, this is interesting. Yeah. When finally they met, right? Even at that time, Yusuf, you can imagine, going through all these difficulties, attributing the unjust acts of his brothers to Shaitan and regarding him as the prime culprit for the crimes of his brothers, was another example of Yusuf's magnanimity. You can see that Yusuf, going through all these things, even at that time, he does not embarrass his brothers, that you are responsible, you did this thing. He says, Shaitan made you do this thing. Just trying to, for example, make them feel that comfortable. He went through a lot of difficulties, but finally, when the brothers and the parents and father went to go and see Yusuf, right, at that time also, you can see his magnanimity, right? He just shielded them from embarrassment and left them with the opportunity to apologize for their deeds. He does not make, and this is what we should be, that even, for example, fellow woman makes something which you don't like, or has been, let's say, quote unquote, mean towards you, you don't have to act like that. No, we just have to actually give him the way out that he should not feel embarrassed. No, he does not need to ask for an apology for that. No, you just be generous and live on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your generosity, keep in mind, is always known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Quran is telling us, قال الله تثريب عليكم اليوم يغفر الله لكم وهو أرحم الراحمين. Subhanallah, he says there shall be no reproof against you from today, from this day. This is what Yusuf is saying. يغفر الله لكم, Allah will forgive you, right? وهو أرحم الراحمين. So he is praying that Allah will forgive them, and then also remind them that no, I'm talking of the one who is going to forgive you is all most merciful. You see, in spite of going through all these difficulties, that is how he is treating with his brothers who were mean to him. We are talking of mu'mineen who are not mean to you, but maybe they are not friendly with you, or maybe sometimes they have been unreasonable with you, and we get upset and we try to find excuses to blame them or make their life such a way that they have to come and say, sorry to you. And we are so much upset that we say, oh, my dead body. Until that time, he doesn't ask me apology, I'm not going to. This should not be the case with our brother, right? You can rest assured, you can say, with respect to me, this is Yusuf, I have forgiven you, chosen to disregard all that has happened previously, and on behalf of Allah too, I can give you this good news and seek from Him that Allah may forgive you. And He's most merciful, right? You can see how Yusuf is, subhanAllah, saying that. No, this is what interpretation of that ayah, right? And then He says, إِنَّهُ مَنْ يَتَّقِي وَيَصْبِرْ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِلُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Actually, this ayat number 90 of Surah Yusuf, actually is so powerful, right? In my humble opinion, it is actually the message of the whole surah. The whole surah and whole story, right? The message is this is it. If somebody observes taqwa and patience, inna Allah la yudi'u ajra al-muhsinin. Allah does not let the efforts of those who do good to go in waste. Right? So, for example, sometimes I give this example to some of the sisters. Right? We have this kind of unfortunately, a culture that sister would not go out and propose for a boy, and she and her family would just wait until the proposal comes. So sometimes it takes long. So then we say sabr. So the question comes, how long should I wait? But I told them it's not only waiting. Before waiting, Allah says, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ إِنَّ مَنْ يَتَّقِ, the one who practices taqwa, right? Who guards. So it's not only that a person is waiting for that faraj, that release from the difficulty. But before they try to be pious also, taqwa, and then sabr. So when taqwa and sabr combine together, then you can see Allah says, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Then Allah will not let your good acts go in waste. So this is what Yusuf is quoting, this kind of thing, my brother. And continue, right? When the brother of Yusuf and the father went to meet him, the very first sentence of Yusuf uttered upon seeing them, right? So, وَقَدْ أَحْسَنَ بِي إِذْ أَخْرَجَنِي مِنَ السِّجْنِ وَجَاءَ بِكُم مِنَ الْبَدْوِ مِنْ بَعْدِ أَنْ نَزَغَ الشَّيْطَانُ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَ إِخْوَتِي إِنَّ رَبِّي لَطِيفٌ لِمَا يَشَاءُ. You can see as he's meeting them. Now this is interesting for this Quranic story. Although this is the first time, but the ayat comes later on. Right? He says that when he meets them, he says that apparently he was indeed kind to me. See how Yusuf is saying that Allah, my Lord, was kind to me when He took me out of the prison. Right? Apparently, it was out of courtesy that Yusuf resisted from mentioning the troubles he had experienced. First, being flung into the well, then his subsequent slavery, then unpleasant incidents, right, with Zuleika, which he had to endure due to the acts of his brothers. Right? He did not wish to revive those bitter memories, which would cause them to experience embarrassment and mortification. Right? Then he says it was Shaitan who incited my brothers to commit those. You can imagine he lays the blame on Shaitan. He said, "An nazagha shaitan bayni wa bayna ikhwati." It was Shaitan who brought about that kind of disliking and hatred between me and my brothers. Rabbi latifun lima yasha, right? So this is quite interesting that how Yusuf dealt with his brothers who were so mean to him. We also, as work in the community, sometimes people are there who are not acting well, not the way they require, and then we react to that. Keep in mind the hadith of the Imam. He says, no, there is a special bond between mu'mineen. Let us have our part to have the best of akhlaq. And all the time, maybe through akhlaq, we are going to win them. But through confrontation, through argument, through taking them as adversaries, we'll never win them. It is akhlaq. And try to pray to Allah that, oh Allah, give me ability that I can display the best of akhlaq to the other person. Then he or she will realize that no, this is what I have. Imagine if you were to follow this great teachings of Prophet and Ahlul Bayt, right? Where would we be? We would be a strong community. But sometimes we find that we argue and counter argue and send out emails and WhatsApp and all those kind of things that we wonder where we are. Right? These are the teachings of Islam. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may Allah give us tawfiq, that we are able to really benefit from these wonderful teachings of the prophets and Imams and also Quran, and especially in this month of Ramadan, when we are spiritually in a better position to improve our akhlaq. Any questions, any clarifications? I can see the chat for, but I'm sure this is regarding all earlier, you cannot hear, yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there was some technical problem. The moment I started, I saw there was a message that your internet was unstable. So, alhamdulillah, it got sorted out. Any questions, any clarifications? Okay, inshallah. Please keep us in your dua. Inshallah, we'll see you tomorrow morning again.